Hello and welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith and today we head to the country of Estonia and the Parnu ring for the latest round of the championship. This circuit made its debut on the calendar last season and proved to be a big hit with the team managers, and so we've brought it back for another go in Season 5. Heading into today, let's have a look at the drivers and team standings for League 2 to begin with. And at the top of the pile, Marcus Ericsson on 119 points, 5 ahead of his nearest rival Shane van Gisbergen, who retired from the last round in Brno and is looking to get back on terms with things here today in Parnu. Third in the championship, Earl Bamber on 100 ahead of Nick Tandy on 97, who won his first race last time out in Brno. Joseph Newgarden 5th in the Jaguar on 80 ahead of Julian Anlauer in the Zach Speed on 60, and then Yeye Fei on 59. Roman De Angelis on 53, Mitch Evans on 51, and Jamie Whincup rounding out the top 10 on 46. As far as the teams go, Lola leads the way on 188 points, only 8 ahead of Ducati and Jaguar, who are level on points, and Kubrick Hero a further 10 behind, only 18 points, covers the top 4 at this stage in the championship, with only 3 promotion places up for grabs, very close between those 4 teams. Lancia 5th on 112 ahead of Zach Speed on 108, and then a bit of a gap to the teams behind. 40 Quarter on 44, Mazda on 38, Iron Dames on 30, Pacific on 28, Ford on 26, Chip Ganassi on 23, and Toyota still in single digits on 5. They really need to get some points on the board here today if they can. And speaking of Toyota, just the one driver change for today's race, and that is from Michael Gillespie's team, where Arvid Lindblad has been dropped down to the reserve role, with Richard Verschoor standing in to make his Grand Prix World Series debut, and the Macau Grand Prix winner will look to make an immediate impact if he can here today in Parnu. And so let's head to the grid and check out the qualifying results and see who will line up where. And it is a first time pole position for Jamie Whincup of the Kubrick Hero team in what was such a closely contested qualifying session. Whincup only 1/1000th of a second ahead of Earl Bamber in second. Brendan Hartley a further 1,000th behind him, and Joseph Newgarden 6,000ths of a second behind Whincup's benchmark. And Shane van Gisbergen and Kalle Rovanperä very close as well, both within half a tenth of a second of the pole time. 0.045 covering the top 6 on the grid. This should prove for a fantastic race today. Nick Tandy, our latest race winner, 7th on the grid in the Kubrick Hero, ahead of our championship leader Marcus Ericsson, and the 2 Lanciers of Roman De Angelis and Yeye Fei in 9th and 10th. Louis Delatraz in a 40 Corsa 11th ahead of Julian Anlauer. Jolyon Palmer with one of his best qualifying results of the season. He will line up 13th ahead of Dorian Pand in the Iron Dames. Zane Maloney 15th in the Ford ahead of today's debutant Richard Verschoor 16th, and out-qualifying his teammate Nick De Vries, with Nick Cassidy being the meat in a Toyota sandwich. Kamui Kobayashi 19th ahead of Carl Kirkwood in 20th, and at the back Johnny Adam, Colton Herter, Sho Tsuboi, Felipe Drugovic, Callum Milot and Bites Gavissa, the entire field lapping within a second of each other in qualifying. And if qualifying was that close, what sort of race is this going to be? We can't wait to find out. So let's waste no more time. Let's head straight over to the commentary box and hand over to Tom Cairns, ready and waiting to call today's race. So Tom, let's get this one started.
Hot on the back of their win last time out in Brno. It is Jamie Whincup on pole this time though, ahead of Earl Bamber, who is going to end his barren run of form with a strong result here today in Parnu. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go in Parnu. It's a good getaway from Jamie Whincup. It's a terrible start from Earl Bamber as Brendan Hartley gets through into second place before they get into turn 1. So Whincup leads ahead of Hartley. Earl Bamber's fighting back into turn 2, but Hartley is able to hold on in the Ducati. Behind Bamber is the teammate of his, Joseph Newgarden, in 4th place. Then we've got Shane van Gisbergen in 5th, Marcus Ericsson in 6th, who's tussling with Nick Tandy, who's dropped behind the Lola of Kalle Rovanperä. Rowan De Angelis is 9th, and Yeye Fei is in 10th place. 2 Lanciers inside the top 10 at the present moment. Short lap round this Parnu course. It'll be less than a minute for each lap that gets clocked, as Hartley goes up the inside of Earl Bamber to take back second position. We'll run down the setups later on, but Whincup is putting out a good margin already ahead of the rest, and Hartley's got some way to catch up on the Australian. So we've got 3 drivers from the Oceania continent inside the top 3, and out goes Felipe Drugovich, who has crashed at the final chicane, and his race goes no further. He's out. And who did he come together with, or was it just a loss of momentum all the way through the chicane? He got it horribly wrong. No contact was made. And that's the left rear torn off, and the Ford is out before the first lap is done. Jamie Whincup half a second clear over Brendan Hartley. We can just see the Ducati right on his tail. I don't know whether the Cooper Kiro isn't that quick in a straight line, because he was so far in front, and you can see he's pulling away in the corners, and that is where the Cooper Kiro is able to unleash its strength. Shane van Gisbergen going through on Joseph Newgarden for 4th place, down over the left-hander of the Parnu ring, located in Estonia. Brendan Hartley going through the chicane, and now he's got Earl Bamber chasing him down the pit straight again. And Bamber posts a new fast lap of the race, quickly taken away by Kalle Rovanperä. Earl Bamber gets past Brendan Hartley and is through into 2nd position. Lap 3 of the race. And Cooper Kiro, who are right in the picture for promotion, just 10 points off the promotion places coming into this round. Made that 9 because Jamie Whincup got that pole position earlier on for this round. And Marcus Ericsson, the League 2 Drivers' Champion of Season 3, on a charge, going past his Finnish teammate Kalle Rovanperä into 6th position. Nice move indeed. And is hoping to continue his points form, and Brendan Hartley gets overtaken by his compatriot Shane van Gisbergen. New fast up of the race from the man running in 9th position, Nick Tandy, the race winner in Brno. But so far so good for Ed Hunter's team, in the lead and in 9th position. Nick Tandy is sat behind Remy De Angelis. Inside the points as well is Dorian Pan in the Iron Danes, who had another strong drive to P7 in Brno. And there goes Nick Tandy through on Remy De Angelis at the final left-hander of the course. Well, I say it's the final left-hander. It's the final left-hander before this quick chicane that they are navigating through. And Yiafi is on fire, and yet again Lanciata hits with mechanical gremlins, and it's game over for him, and he's punted off the road by the Chip Ganassi. I wonder if that was Colton Herter that ran into the back of him, but if Yiafi was going to pull off, he should have pulled off sooner. It was Colton Herter that ran into him. Now the stewards may perceive that it was Yiafi's fault, and he's holding up the field as they're going through, but that's the 2nd retirement of the race. Yiafi goes no further. That's another non-finish for him. And that's his 8th non-finish of the season out of 12 starts. The race winner of Campo Grande 10 rounds ago is out of the League 2 Parnu Grand Prix. No further action is going to be taken on that incident involving him and Colton Herter. Gisbergen in 3rd, ahead of Hartley, his teammate, but we are looking at the battle for the lead because Bamber is right up the gearbox of Jamie Whincup, gone in for his first win in the Grand Prix Series. Earl Bamber, who has won 3 times in this series. He won twice for Leighton last season in Mugello and in Zhuhai, and he also won this season at Dijon-Bourgogne. Yeah, he won. Sorry, no, it wasn't Dijon-Bourgogne, my apologies. It was Jerez where he had won. He's going through though. Bumper through into the lead past Jamie Whincup. And what a brilliant pass that was. It was coming all along from the moment he got up to the gearbox. It was bound to happen. It was going to go through. So a Jaguar leads here in Estonia. And whilst one Jaguar is in the lead, another is also on the move. Joseph Newgarden side by side with Brendan Hartley down this long pit straight. And it's going to be 4th position going in the way of the American, who recently won the Music City Grand Prix at Nashville Super Speedway at the IndyCar season finale for this season, making it the 11th campaign in a row that he's won a race in the NTT IndyCar Series. And further down the order, that was Nick De Vries being overtaken by Kyle Kirkwood, and that's Kirkwood through into 16th position. One driver making his debut in the Grand Prix Series today is Richard Verschoor, the Formula 2 ace, running in 14th place. It's a strong effort so far from him. But Toyota haven't scored since round 4 of the championship. That was at Indianapolis, where Nick De Vries got that result. And we ride on board with the man who was ahead of what looks like his team. I wonder if that's Shane Van Gisbergen. It's not Shane Van Gisbergen, it's Johnny Adam, who is ahead of Colton Herter. Johnny Adam, who has 2-point scores from 2 races in his career, substituting for Paul Aron. And Newgarden coming back on Hartley, and he's through into 4th place again. Behind Hartley is Kalle Rovanperä, who's got back ahead of Marcus Ericsson not too long ago. We are clearly seeing a lot of overtakes around this course, which is very good to see. 8 laps down, 55 to go at this 63-lap lead to Bernard Grand Prix. And Zane Maloney has done exactly the same thing to what his teammate Felipe Dragovic has done. The only difference is that he's got all 4 wheels still on the wagon. Loss of momentum, he clipped the wall on the outside. He's ended up pointing the wrong way on the circuit. He's had to wait for the field to go by before he can return safely. Shane Van Gisbergen in 3rd position. Didn't score last time out in Brno. His retirement was his 3rd of the season, and that cost him the lead in the Drivers' Championship to Marcus Ericsson, who came into this 5 points clear over his rival. Newgarden has been attacked again by Brendan Hartley. Hartley through at turn 1. And that's a great pass and enough to go through into 4th position. Bumper continuing to lead. The margin is 3 seconds as Rovanperä trying to line up a move on Ericsson, who got by him again. But now they're both going after Joseph Newgarden. Rovanperä goes through on Ericsson, the left-hander. In regards to the number of turns on this circuit, I'm counting 10 or 11, whichever, but I think the left-hander is classed as turn 8. Julian Palmer heading through on Julian Launlauer at 4th position. We'll run down on the setups. Pacific and Sat Speed have gone for neutral, 40 have gone for mid-top speed, Lola maximum downforce, Lancia, Ducati and Jaguar mid-top speed, Chip Ganassi maximum top speed, Toyota and Iron Dames neutral, Ford, Cooper Kiro and Mazda All gone for mid-top speed. So far, so good for the Jaguar team. 1st and 5th. The team hadn't scored points in the last couple of races. It cost them the lead at the top of the team's championship to Lola. They're on the brink of falling behind Kupakiro if they don't get a good result here in Estonia. And Herzer makes contact with Johnny Adam, and they're both off the circuit, and it looks like it's effectively race done for Johnny Adam, but that was completely at fault there for Colton Herzer. The way he made the move, he just outbraked himself and used Johnny Adam as a brake, forcing the track speed to go off the circuit. And that'll be a time penalty coming in the way of Colton Herzer. It'll be something like 30 seconds because Adam has sustained damage from contact, and he'll have to come in. Yeah, it's a 30-second time penalty and a back of the grid job for the next race for Colton Herzer. The next round being in Marrakesh in Morocco. It's to Kyalami, South Africa, New Delhi, India, Fuji, Japan, Sepang, Malaysia. Now the 18th and final round has had a recent change. It was meant to be going to Adelaide, Australia, but we are now heading to Thailand at Buriram. Here's the non-championship Macau Grand Prix to follow that to round off the season, involving the 13 highest scoring teams across the two leagues. Bamba's lead is over 5 seconds on Whincup. Johnny Adam makes it back to the pit lane. He's now down a lap on the majority of the field. And Tandy gets past Marcus Ericsson for position. So he's through. Van Gisbergen in 3rd position, closing in. And that's Jenny and Palmer lapping Johnny Adam, who's come out with a new front wing and on fresher tyres, so it wouldn't surprise me if he unlapped the Pacific. There is Ericsson running in 9th behind De Angelis. Tucks back in, pulls out, tucks back in again. Now remember, Lola are running a maximum downforce setup compared to the Lancia, hence why Ericsson wasn't able to get all the straight line speed that he needed to get past. Further up front, Van Gisbergen is ahead of Hartley at the present moment, but for how long? Well, there goes Hartley past the man who was going for the championship this season. He's through into 3rd position. And it's a retirement for Julian Anlower. And Zach Speed's race goes from bad to worse. Now Anlower, who was running towards the top end, and someone has gone off the circuit as well. It looked like a 40 had gone off. Yeah, 40 stopped out on the circuit. One of the 40s has crashed, and I think it's Kamui Kobayashi. He's crashed also at the right-hander in a big way. And he's also out of the race. Japanese goes no further. It's race over for the Japanese. There's 4 drivers out of this. Now, last season at this track, we only had 4 drivers not finishing. We're already on lap number 16. Through goes Hartley on Whincup for second. And nicely done from the Kiwi, getting through on the Australian. He's beginning to drop back from the leader. I wonder if Whincup's doing one-stop strategy compared to his rivals. We'll see soon enough. Here's Cassidy chasing after Nick de Vries for 15th position. He heads through. And Shane van Gisbergen is right on the tail of Jamie Whincup for 3rd place. Is it going to be another position lost for Ed Hunter's driver? Joe Suboy is the next driver to come in for a stop. And that's Johnny Adam on lapping from Louis Delatraz. Driver who we're trying to unlap is Dorian Pan. There goes on the inside is Adam. So Boy comes out of the pits a lap down in 21st position. We look at the Iron Dames of Dorian Pan in P10 under attack from Louis Delatraz. In the road squabble. Hartley in second. Going after. That is Sho Suboy in front, who's just pitted. And Nick Tunde attempting to get by Roman DeAngelis at the chicane, which doesn't work. And Robin Perrott has made his way into the pits for his first scheduled stop at the end of lap 18. As does Dorian Pan. Van Gisbergen going through on Jamie Whincup for 3rd place at turn 8, and that's a great pass from the Ducati. It's now 2 Ducatis in the top 3. Bamber leading the way in the Jaguar, and it's the 2 Ducatis of Hartley and Van Gisbergen. Now, when will Bamber decide to pit in? It's likely he's going to be doing the 2-stop. Judging by the gap he's been able to stretch out in the opening stages. We've got Nick Tandy coming in for a pit stop. It's vitally important that he gets out in clear air, but I don't think he's going to go in clear air because we're looking at Kalle Robin Perrott, who's been overtaken actually. Or is that Marcus Ericsson? No, it is Robin Perrott. He's back in the pits again. He's had some form of issue, and Robin Perrott has had to come back in. The man who won on debut in Poznan a couple of rounds ago is not having the best race of it here in Parnu. Robin Perrott will be a lap down. And then we look at Zane Maloney recovering after that earlier spin. He's passed Weitskowitzer in the Iron Dames. And 17th position is his. Back at the front, El Bamba dominating. As Colton Herter is the next driver to come in for a scheduled stop. Into the pits comes Say Maloney. As Visser to head back through. Hartley goes through the last chicane. Where will he find himself after this? Return to the Grand Prix Series in Poznan, put in a strong drive. He retired in Brno. Likewise for Van Gisbergen and his teammate. And Kyle Kirkwood is now in for Chip Ganassi. We look at what looks like. It's like Roman DeAngelis who's in front of Maloney. Looks to see who it is. It is Roman DeAngelis who's in front of Maloney, who unlaps himself from the Lancia, and Johnny Adam has been able to get through on Kelly Rovanpera. We've got the race leader El Bamba pitting in. Good chance for him to win today after an impressive first stint. He should rejoin in 8th position ahead of Richard Forshaw. Johnny Palmer came in for Pacific. Will he rejoin? Still inside the top 15. He's got Visser and Pan heading through. Doesn't like Palmer is good. I think Palmer will rejoin ahead of Kirkwood, so he'll be absolutely fine from there. Rovanpera overtakes Adam for 21st position. Brendan Hartley is in, as is Ericsson. That allows Shane van Gisbergen to take the lead of the race. We look at Callum Milot, who locked up in front of Nick Tandy. A little too deep there was the Brit. DeAngelis and Delatraz are in along with Ericsson and Hartley. Richard Forshaw enters the pit lane for Toyota, as does Johnny Abbott for Pacific. And out comes Marcus Ericsson in front of Nick Tandy. That was important for him to do, because he was in front of Tandy before the pit stops and he's remained in front of him this time around. Back at the front we see Wincup and Newgarden in 2nd and 3rd, yet to pit those two. El Bamba has made one pit stop so far, but it looks like Van Gisbergen, Wincup and Newgarden are going to try and make the one stop work around here. Shane van Gisbergen, 3 times a race winner this season. He won in Dijon-Bourgogne. He'd also won in Mugello. And he also won the next round after that at Hockenheim. Further back, we're looking at Kalle Rovanperä on the tail of St. Maloney. Looks at Newgarden for a moment. Rovanperä not able to find a way past the man from Barbados. We look at Richard Verschoor, a little too deep into turn 2, but continues. Toyota in desperate need of some points. Came into this one 8 rounds without scoring. El Bumba posts a new fast up of the race of 56.4. Freeze overtakes Zuboy for 17th place. There we look at Newgarden. Maloney on laps. Whincup. Won't be too long before Rovanperä goes past. And out goes Colton Herter unless he can get his Chip Ganassi back to the pit lane. He can't do. It's race over for him. Another race without points for the American. And there goes Chip Ganassi, and it's game over for him before half race distance. Race leader completes lap 28. Still no sign when Van Gisbergen is going to pit in. It's inevitable he's going to be pitting the one stop here, as is Newgarden and Whincup. Bamber is closing in on Whincup, so it's important that Whincup stays ahead before he pits in. He's going to have the best chance of having the gap he needs for when Bamber comes in for his final stop. 3.5 seconds between Whincup and Bamber. I suppose the good thing for Van Gisbergen is that he's not had too much traffic to deal with over the course of this. There goes Witzer on Pan for position. That's because Pan is coming in. I think that's her second stop of the race. It is, and it's come earlier than planned, and Pan is the latest to suffer mechanical gremlins. It's a throttle problem for the French driver. It's a terrible, terrible scenario for the Iron Dames team, headed up by Jake Sanson. See Kirkwood heading past Bajskowitzer for P12. It's a position gain for the only Chip Ganassi pilot left in the race. And Bamber's got the gap down to 1 second between himself and Jamie Whincup. Visser fighting back. She's back into P12, is she? Kirkwood is still there, but the position is made by the Dutch driver. Witzer back into P12 over the American. You can see Whincup is getting held up behind St. Maloney. Nick de Vries running in 16th position. behind Zuboy will be the race leader, who won't be too far away from making his only stop of the race. It's been a strong race so far for Shane van Gisbergen. There goes El Bamba on Jamie Whincup. Whincup wasn't able to hold Bamba back. And if I was the Keeper Kiro team, I would consider bringing Whincup in. Into the pits comes Shane van Gisbergen, and Joseph Newgarden looks like he's gone into the lead. He has done. Bamba's into second, so it's a Jaguar 1 and 2 for now. Will van Gisbergen rejoin ahead of Brendan Hartley? I don't think he will do, so he'll rejoin behind his teammate and compatriot. Van Gisbergen rejoins in 5th. He doesn't have too much traffic to deal with. One shot strategy could pay off for him. And Newgarden is doing his best to stretch out his first stint as far as he can before he comes in. He's not coming to the pits this time. There is Callum Rumpo. Jamie Whincup comes in for Keeper Kiro. Where will the Australian rejoin? Well, he's not going to rejoin in front of Van Gisbergen. It doesn't look like he's going to rejoin ahead of Marcus Ericsson either. No, he's behind Ericsson. He's behind Tandy. He's behind De Angelis. He's behind Delachas. He should go out in front of Julian Palmer, I think. He's out in front of Palmer. He's in 9th position. And Brendan Hartley up in smoke in the Ducati. More reliability problems for Sam Hall's team. Brendan Hartley is out of the Lead 2 Parnu Grand Prix on lap 32. A dent to Ducati's hopes for promotion this season. This cannot keep happening for them. It's good news for Jaguar, Lola and Keeper Kiro. Another driver gone from this. And there we see Kelly Rothenpera stop behind Zane Maloney. And there's an overtake from Dorian Pan on Callum Ilott for 17th. It's all down to Shane van Gisbergen to win this race for Ducati. Joseph Newgarden has got Roman De Angelis for company. He needs to pull away from him as quickly as he can. .29 laps to go. El Bamba leads, but he has another stop to make. He's got clear track in front of him. We expect him to come in for a pit stop in around about 5 to 10 laps time. Sho Zuboy comes in for his second stop of the race. Is Van Gisbergen going to go for a fastest lap here? He's got all the clear track ahead of him. Bamba's got it so far. Van Gisbergen wasn't not able to get the fastest lap that time around. But Maloney is under attack from Cali Rothenpera. They're both up to 14th and 15th places. They're a lap down. At least both of them are still in this one, as is Marcus Ericsson, the championship leader, in 3rd place. If Van Gisbergen was to win this one, he'd go back into the championship lead. Bamber leading. It's Van Gisbergen, Ericsson, Tandy, Newgarden, DeAngelis. Delachar up to 7th place. Whincup is 8th. Julian Palmer is 9th. And inside the points is Kyle Kirkwood in 10th. Mistake by Julian Palmer at the final chicane. Now Pacific are on a barren run of form as well. 3 races without scoring. Their best finish coming in Jerez, where Palmer and Isla were able to get 4th and 6th places there. And that's really been their only highlight all season, following their relegation from League One in Season 4. And that was an overtake there from Joseph Newgarden on Nick Tandy for 4th place. Important move for Joseph Newgarden. He's going to win this. You can see the straight line speed on the Cooper Kiro as Tandy fights back. He heads through on the inside, and position gained for the Brit. And someone's up in smoke. It's a Jaguar. Newgarden's up in smoke. Another twist in the title race. Joseph Newgarden is going to be out of the race unless he can get that car back to the pit lane. The car's on fire. It's game over. Joseph Newgarden retires from the Lead 2 Parnu Grand Prix. And this is not what Mike Smith, the manager of the squad, needed at this stage in the campaign. And that's Delachar spinning. Now, in avoidance, Delachar has spun right into the path of Whincup and Palmer, and he's causing problems. Oh, he just lost it completely. And Whincup ran into him. And as he reversed and tried to get going, Delachar was causing all sorts of issues there. Now, could Whincup have avoided that incident? In my opinion, I don't think he could have done. That was totally on Delachar, really. Palmer, well, he was lucky not to be taken out as well. Oh, and you can just see Delachar rejoining there. I think that was an unsafe release. I think Delachar will pick up some form of penalty for causing such mayhem there. And it's a back of the grid penalty for Louis Delachar, and another one he's picked up. Whincup has come back into the pit lane with some form of issue, so that's his race ruined. No time penalty though for Delachar. Realistically, it's between Bamber and Van Gisbergen for the win. There we see Cassidy making contact with Kirkwood. He didn't gain the position. He put his nose up the inside of the Chip Ganassi. He came from so far back. No, he was too far back to do it from there. But I don't expect a penalty to be given for that from the Mazda. DeAngelis coming in for Lancia for his final stop, and confirmation from the stewards, no further action will be taken on that incident with Kirkwood and Cassidy. see Bajskovica in front of what looks like Jamie Whincup, who's exited his final stop. There's no chance of him coming away with the win now. Two battles happening though. That's for sure going through, and Delacha's up to P6. Richard for sure having the race of his life on debut for Toyota. And what a drive he's having. That's 6th position going in the way of the Dutchman. Julian Palmer up to 5th now in the Pacific. We've got more pit stops coming. The latest over at Mazda, Nick Cassidy in from inside the points. He was running in 9th position ahead of Nick de Vries, who moves up. We've got Richard for sure, and Delacha's going at it again. Delachaz is putting his 40 up the inside, and the move is cleanly done. How long will it be before Bamber enters the pit lane for his final stop? And Johnny Adam pits in for a 3rd time. In the pits goes Delachaz, and in the pits comes Kirkwood. That allows Nick de Vries to go up into 7th place for the time being at least. We've got more pit stops happening. Maloney is in, as is Robin Perra. In the final third of this League 2 Parnu Grand Prix, Nick Tandy has come in for Cooper Kiro from 4th position. And there we look at Shane van Gisbergen lapping Kyle Kirkwood. 7 drivers out of the race at the present moment. Joseph Newgarden, Brendan Hartley, Colton Herter, Julian Amlauer, Kamui Kobayashi, Yi Yuffie and Felipe Drogovic. Race leader Earl Bamber is in for his final stop, handing the lead over to his compatriot and rival for the championship, Shane van Gisbergen. Kyle Kirkwood heading through on van Gisbergen to unlap himself from the Ducati. This wasn't exactly in the script, and Kirkwood is able to go through. He is on fresher tyres to van Gisbergen, so that explains it, although Van Gisbergen is not having any of it. And that's cost him time. Crucial time, in fact. He's in the lead, but all of that squabbling has allowed Bamber to close in again. Ericsson pits in for Lola. And of all people, if he is close enough to move up the order, Nick de Vries is up to 3rd position for Toyota. This has been a remarkable effort for team manager Michael Gillespie today for Toyota. They've been at it from the start here. And there goes Bamber passing Van Gisbergen for the lead. And that was far too easy. Now, has Van Gisbergen got some form of issue? He has. He's gone into the pit lane. Witzer is in the pit lane with some form of issue. And Van Gisbergen had a loose wheel. So the attempt at the one-stop strategy wasn't going to work for Van Gisbergen anyway. And he's had even more issues. It gets worse for Ducati. But there is your race leader, Earl Bamber, on course to take the win. A much-needed win for both him and for Jaguar. Ericsson is through into 2nd place. Van Gisbergen will drop to P5 behind Roman DeAngelis. De Vries and Pan are both in the pits for their final stops. it's going to be quite a tussle actually for the final points positions because the field are so close. Still think there are a few more pit stops to come though, because Ilott is running in 6th place ahead of his teammate Julian Palmer. It's Jamie Winkup who recovering to 8th. Richard Verschoor in 9th, who's already made his final stop. And the final points place is currently Louis Delatraz. There's a change of position between the two Mazdas. Nick Cassidy overtaking Sho Suboy. And through all the drama, Nick Tandy's up into 2nd place. The man who is closest between the two Cooper Kiro drivers to race leader or championship leader Marcus Ericsson, who is in the pits again. So another mechanical issue that's forced a driver into the pit lane. Marcus Ericsson, who's only just pitted a few laps ago, has come back in again. What is going on here in Parnu? I know this circuit's high speed, but didn't expect to see that many mechanical maladies involving each and every team, more or less. For your information, Winkup has passed Ilott for 6th place. He was 8th a moment ago, but he's now come to 6th. And we look at Nick de Vries, who gets lapped by Earl Bamber. It's been a strong effort again from, I will mention it for Toyota, who have not had a lot to celebrate this season. As Richard Verschoor gets overtaken by Louis Delatraz. So the Swiss is up into P8 for 40. And Van Gisbergen, who's passed Roman Delatraz now for 3rd position. The man he's going after is Nick Tandy. There's no way he's going to catch Earl Bamber. 2nd is the best he can achieve. That unscheduled stop for Marcus Ericsson has dropped him out of the top 15. Lola, at the moment, are not going to be scoring any points today. Even with both drivers still running, they're not going to be picking up any points. As it stands with the positions as they are, Schoen van Gisbergen will take over the lead, and Earl Bamber, by taking the win and fastest lap, will move on to 126. He'll be 3 points off Van Gisbergen heading into the next round in Marrakesh. It's Handy on course for 2nd place here. He'll move on to 115. He'll in fact stay in 4th place, but he'll be a lot closer to the top 3. Ericsson, as it stands, will drop down to 3rd. In the Teams Championship, realistically it's the top 4 who'll be fighting out for promotion. Lola not on course to be scoring. Ducati are on course to be scoring. But looking at where Jaguar are with Bamber in the lead and on course for fastest lap. And as we see an overtake, I think that was that Richard Verschoor going past Callum Ilott? It was. Verschoor up into P7. Going back to what I was saying, 26 points for Jaguar. We'll move on to 206. Ducati will head on to 195. Lola won't be scoring. They'll remain on 188. With Kibikiro, who have got their drivers in 2nd and 6th. The pole position point for Jamie Winkup to consider. That puts them on to 27 points. 197 points they'll be on. They'll be ahead of Lola into the automatic promotion places. Will Cooper Kiro and the team manager Ed Hunter. So from the lead down to 4th position, it will be for Lola unless they can get either Rovanperä or Ericsson back into the points, and off goes Delatraz at turn 1. don't think he got hit from behind. That looked like he had outbraked himself at the first corner. Can he get out of there safely? He rejoins in 14th and out of the points. The top 7 are all on the lead lap. It's likely though that Palmer, Whincup and Verschoor will end up being lapped before this race is over. "13 laps to go. Earl Bamber on course for what will be his second win of the season. He's finished he's finished second on 4 occasions, but it's not going to be a race finish for Louis Delachaz. It is game over for Dave Goddard and for 40. Both of their cars are out of the race. Closing in on Nick Tandy. The gap is 1.8 seconds. The way this championship is going, it's likely going to be Ericsson, Van Gisbergen, Bamber or Tandy becoming League 2 Drivers' Championship this season. All from different teams as well. Just run a little too deep into turn 7. That won't help. We've got pit stop over at Pacific because Julian Palmer has pitted in this late. That's such a shame for Kevin McMullen's squad. He's running in 12th position, not on course to be scoring any points right now. We can't see what the gap is between him and Kirkwood because both of them are a lap down to the leader. But it looks like Robin Perra is heading through on Kirkwood at turn 8. He's up into P11. And Ericsson is also on the move past Dorian Pam for 13th. Van Gisbergen is not exactly closed in on Nick Tandy like he did a lap ago. Ten laps remaining. Earl Bamber is almost there. Cannot afford any mistakes. I suppose if he had a mechanical problem and came in to pit to get that sorted out, he would rejoin still in front of Nick Tandy and Shane Van Gisbergen. And Cassidy has suffered some form of suspension problem, and it's enough to drop him out of the race. And that's a terrible shame because Mazda looked good to get both cars to the finish again and scoring. Long to go. Richard Verschoor, what a drive from him today. Arguably driver of the day. In 6th position. Callum Ilott with a good drive as well. Nick De Vries inside the points. It's a long time since Toyota finished with both cars inside the points. In fact, it will be the first time ever in the Grand Prix Series that both Toyotas will finish inside the points. 6th and 8th. And this isn't done yet. not by a long stretch. And there goes Nick de Vries on the inside of Callum Aylott. This is for 7th place. The Dutchman goes past the Brit into turn 1. And more delight for Michael Gillespie as he sees Nick de Vries take 7th place from Callum Aylott. What a day this has been for the Toyota crew. They came into this with 5 points. They're about to collect 14 in one race alone. And Van Gisbergen is 1 second off Nick Tandy, who's had a good race today again. Bamber, who just needs to keep his car on the circuit. It's coming up to lap what looks like Jamie Whincup. And Kalle Rovanperä on the tail of Show Subai. He's made it back into the points, has the Finn. But he knows there are more that he can collect. Marcus Ericsson is up into 12th place and closing in on Crail Kirkwood. There is the Mazda and there is the Lola. Now is Rovanperä close enough to send one up the inside? Remember, the Lola has the maximum downforce setup. It won't be quick in a straight line. But that doesn't stop Rovanperä from heading through on the Mazda. Great overtake from Kalle Rovanperä up to 9th position. Lola on course for 2 points. It won't be enough to keep them in the automatic promotion places. Can he go for more and get through on Callum Aylott before this race is over? El Bamba is coming up to lap the man who was on pole and lead in the beginning of this, Jamie Whincup. The saving grace for Whincup is that he's still on course to finish 5th, and there's an engine blow up, and it's Kyle Kirkwood who once again hits reliability issues, and both Chip Ganassis are out of the race. Did Ericsson get through safely though? Just about, but it's game over for Kirkwood. Car is lifted up over the barrier and it's race over for him. I just saw Tandy and Van Gisbergen close together. And there we look at Jenny and Palmer getting past the Ford of Zane Maloney with only a handful of laps to go. It's a 13th position goes Palmer. Tell you that Bamba did lap Jamie Whincup, so it's just the top 4 that are going to finish on the lead lap. And through goes Rovanperä on Aylott for 8th position. Another position gained and another couple of points going in the way of Lola. Great pass there from Rovanperä. El Bamba, he's 4 laps away from the finish. But Aylott's coming back on Rovanperä up the inside, and it looks like he's got the move completed there. But I think Rovanperä is able to keep hold of the place thanks to the downforce he's got on his car. This is going to be a replay of Aylott going through on Rovanperä, or so he thought. You can just tell by the amount of downforce that the Lola has got compared to the Pacific. He stays ahead. Jaguar, who have celebrated a race win on 2 occasions, are about to make it 3, and it's going to be win number 2 of the season for El Bamba, winner in Jerez in Spain. He's about to do it again in Parnu, Estonia. Bar any more twists, as we often see in the Grand Prix World Series. But Gisbergen is still stuck behind Nick Tandy, who's doing his best to hold on. And Show Suboi is the next to go for it on Callum Ilott. Has he made the move stick? The answer is yes. Great move from Suboi. 2 points coming in the way instead of 1 for David Young's squad. Van Gisbergen sticking to Tandy like glue. A reminder of the setups between those two respective teams. Ducati have gone for mid-top speed. Kipikiro have also gone for mid-top speed, so they're actually level pegging on the setup side of things. Six seconds is the gap between Van Gisbergen and De Angelis. But it's been another decent drive from De Angelis after his teammate retired earlier on. And Johnny Adam, who's had a low-key race, goes past Beitske Witzer. Only a couple of laps to go for 15th position. But it's going to be no points for the Sax Speed squad, which is a rarity that I say that about them. 6 seconds is the margin between Tandy and Van Gisbergen. Cross over the line with 2 laps left. And while we say that, Witzer has got the straight line speed and coming back through on the inside of Johnny Adam. So that's a nice battle intensifying. And Richard Verschoor nearly losing it through the chicane. He's very nearly there now, as race leader El Bamba has started his final lap of the race. And what a storming drive again from the Kiwi, who had been on a run of 3 races without points. He was the championship leader before that run, and he needs something to compensate for that. And as we look at Tandy and Van Gisbergen, this is close as Van Gisbergen has been. Down the inside goes Shane Van Gisbergen on Nick Tandy, and the Ducati takes 2nd place from the Brits. A superb overtake from Shane Van Gisbergen. But we go to El Bamba, who crosses over the line. El Bamba exits the chicane to win the League 2 Parnu Grand Prix, to keep himself in the running for the title in League 2. What a drive, what a race. El Bamba is a race winner again. And we look at Richard Verschoor, might be a lap down, but it's Toyota's best result of the season. 6th and 7th, Michael Gillespie take a pat on the back. The best haul of points all season. Shane Van Gisbergen, who got by Nick Tandy on the last lap, finishes in 2nd place. Tandy bags another podium for Kipikiro in 3rd. And Roman De Angelis, the last driver on the lead lap, in 4th. The remaining cars crossing over the line, and it's race over. There's your race winner. It is El Bamba here in Parnu in League 2. What a drive, what a race, an important result for Jaguar. Shane Van Gisbergen 2nd by overtaking Nick Tandy on the final lap, and also who also finished in 3rd place. Roman De Angelis 4th, Jamie Whincup in 5th, 2 Kipikiros inside the points again. Richard Verschoor, Nick de Vries, what a day for Toyota, 6th and 7th, much needed points for them and for team manager Michael Gillespie. Kelly Rovanperä 8th, Show Suboi 9th, and the 5 point going in the way of Callum Ilott in 10th for Pacific. Marcus Ericsson 11th, Dorian Pan 12th, Julian Palmer in 3rd team, Shane Maloney, Johnny Adam, and Beitske Witzer were the last drivers to cross over the line. Kyle Kirkwood didn't make it to the end, but he's classified as a finisher. The retirements: Nick Cassidy, Louis Delatraz, Joseph Newgarden, Brendan Hartley, Colton Herter, Julian Anlower, Kamui Kobayashi, Yi Ify, and Felipe Dragovic. 9 cars did not make it to the end or classified as finishers. Jamie Whincup got the point for pole position, the point for the first lap going to Jaguar and for El Bamba. A dreadful day for Lola, only collecting 4 points. And they have gone from the lead to outside the promotion places, all in one swoop. Because Cooper Kiro, Ducati and Jaguar have bagged important points. A twist in the Drivers' Championship and also in the Teams' Championship. With Ericsson not scoring, Van Gisbergen taking that second place finish. And Earl Bamber winning today. Earl Bamber on 126 points. Van Gisbergen is now on 132. 6 points is the gap, but Ericsson has lost the lead in the championship. He goes down to 3rd place. It's time to run down on the League 2 Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. We'll be back for the League 1 race very, very shortly.
Well, a fantastic race here today in Parnu. Lots of drama all the way through, and it ends with Earl Bamber getting himself back onto the top step of the podium and getting himself well and truly in the thick of things as far as the championship battle is concerned. And Shane Van Gisbergen getting Nick Tandy on the final lap. How crucial could those 3 points be for his title challenge? And just before we run through the standings, a quick shout out to the Toyota team as well. Richard for sure, 6th on debut, followed by Nick de Vries in 7th. A great result today from the Toyota team, and we hope to see more of the same in the second half of the season. But what has this race done to the drivers and team standings? Let's have a look through them now. Shane Van Gisbergen moved up to the lead of the Drivers' Championship once again, 132 points for the Ducati driver, ahead of today's race winner Earl Bamber up to 126, only 6 points behind his fellow New Zealander as it stands. Marcus Ericsson goes from 1st to 3rd in the standings on 119, still within touching distance, and will hope to move back up into the lead of the championship as soon as he can. Nick Tandy 20 points off the lead now, still within a race win of the lead, and definitely a championship contender at this point. It's looking likely that a championship will come out of those 4 drivers, but do not discount the likes of Joseph Newgarden just yet. 52 points off the lead of the championship, but a couple of strong results for Newgarden could get him back into it. Roman De Angelis continuing his fine form recently, up to 6th in the standings on 65 points, 1 ahead of Julian Anlauer on 64. Yaya Fei, another retirement for him today, he's on 59 points. Jamie Whincup on 57 and Mitch Evans rounding up the top 10 on 51. And in the teams, Jaguar on 206 leads the way ahead of Ducati on 198, and Cooper Kiro now up to 3rd in the standings and into a promotion spot. Lola has gone all the way from 1st to 4th in the championship today. Still within touching distance, of course, 192 points for Marcus Johansson's team. It's all to play for in the last few rounds of the season. Lancia getting themselves just about within touching distance in 5th on 124, but you would think that it is going to be Jaguar, Ducati, Cooper Kiro and Lola fighting for those 3 spots. Saxby 6th on 108, ahead of 40 Corsa on 44, Mazda on 40, Iron Dames on 30, Pacific on 29, Ford on 26, Chip Ganassi on 23, and Toyota finally getting themselves into double digits with today's double points finish. 19 points now for Michael Gillespie's team, and they'll be hoping to score more points across the remainder of the season. So with League 2 done and dusted, we can now move on to League 1 and remind ourselves of the drivers and team standings heading into this one. And in the drivers, Kevin Estre leads the way on 113, ahead of Antonio Briggs da Costa on 110, Robin Frines on 106, Scott Dixon on 105 and Felix Rosenquist on 101. 12 points covering the top 5 at this stage in the championship, all to play for as we go into Parnu and the following rounds. Scott McLaughlin 6th on 83, ahead of Kevin Magnussen on 78, Christopher Bell on 62, Ryo Hirakawa on 59 and Nicholas Latifi, despite missing the last few rounds, still in the top 10 on 46 points, but you can't help but think that he will be overtaken sooner rather than later. And in the teams, Onyx leads the way on 218 points, 11 ahead of Arrows on 207, and Fomitel on 188, 30 points covering the top 3 at the moment. It might well be one of those 3 teams that walks away with the title this season, but not if the likes of HRT have anything to say about it. 145 points, they're not out of it just yet, and they could have a strong second half of the season. Minardi 5th on 101, ahead of BAR on 65, Force India on 58, Carlin on 40, Ram Racing on 34, Andretti on 31, and still occupying the relegation spots at the moment, Prima Racing on 22, Prost on 16 and Simtech on 8. They're not too far away from the likes of Ram and Andretti at the moment. A strong points finish for any of those teams could see them move up into the top 10. Still all to play for as we look towards the end of the season. There are no driver changes for today's League 1 race, so let's head straight to the grid and see who's on pole. And for today, it is Felix Rosenqvist getting himself back onto pole position for the first time in quite a few races. Less than a tenth of a second ahead of Philip Hansen, who gets his best qualifying result of the season so far. Second in the BAR ahead of Scott Dixon in the Onyx. Christopher Bell fourth in the HRT at the scene of his maiden Grand Prix World Series podium last season. Kevin Estre fifth, our championship leader, ahead of Robin Freins in the Arrows. Pascal Wehrlein seventh in the Minardi ahead of Scott McLaughlin. And then the two Fond Metals of Kevin Magnussen and Antonio Felix da Costa round out the top 10. In 11th will be Raffaele Marcello in the Force India ahead of Linus Lundqvist in the Andretti. Then Jose Maria Lopez, once again the lead Prost on the grid this season, 13th for him ahead of Stoffel van Dorn in the Carlin. Sebastian Buemi, our reigning champion, 15th ahead of Felipe Albuquerque in the BAR. He'll be very disappointed with that given that his teammate Philip Hansen is on the front row. Louis Foster 17th ahead of Rio Hirakawa, Oliver Rowland and Jean-Eric Verne 20th place for him in the Force India. And at the back, Pato Ward, Alex Palou, Igor Fraga, Tina Hausmann, Tom Coronel and Jake Dennis with a back of the grid penalty from last time out in Brno. Well, the League 2 race was very enjoyable and we're hoping for more of the same in League 1. Can Rosenqvist get himself back onto the top step of the podium once again, or can Philip Hansen challenge for his maiden Grand Prix World Series victory at only his third attempt? Let's get down to trackside and find out. Let's head straight back to Tom Cairns in the commentary box, waiting to get this one underway. So Tom, back to you.
Rosenqvist on pole with Hansen, who's impressed since his debut in Poznan. Can he give BAR a very, very strong result and their first win of the campaign? The 5 lights are coming on now for one last time here today. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Parnu. A good getaway from Rosenqvist, and we see Christopher Bell going ahead of Scott Dixon into third position. A great start from the HRT, not so for the Onyx. And it is Rosenqvist who leads away, and it's Philip Hansen in second. Christopher Bell is in third, and it's Scott Dixon in fourth. Robin Freins fifth. Championship leader Kevin Estre is in sixth position. He's dropped down a place at the expense of Freins. Scott McLaughlin is in seventh. Kevin Magnussen eighth. Pascal Wehrlein is down a couple of positions into ninth. And it's Linus Lundqvist in the Andretti inside the points. Down towards the left-hander of turn 8. You can just see that Philip Hansen's right on the gearbox as we look at McLaughlin and Estre pulling out the slipstream and then ducking back in again before they get to the corner. But it's a brilliant start from the field as they power down the straight, this very short lap of the Parnu ring. And it's Rosenqvist who leads the way and Hansen doing his best to keep up. I imagine it's going to be a matter of time before Hansen goes into the lead here, but not by running wide like that. And he's falling back into the clutches of Christopher Bell, who may have something to say on that. And the Arrows team, who haven't won in the Grand Prix Series since 4 rounds ago. That was over at Mugello, where Robin Freins had won. And we see Christopher Bell go through on Philip Hansen for second place. Neatly done there from the American, but disappointment for the Brit. And Freins has already encountered problems in the Arrows. It's just been overtaken by Kevin Estre, and he's in real trouble already. Is the man running in third place in the championship. Philip Hansen goes back through on Christopher Bell into P2, and there's many more changes for position behind. Linus Lundqvist up into 8th place in the Andretti. He's had a good start, but Freins is going to have a long race from here. He's into the pits with problems, and he'll fall down to last place. There goes Dixon on Bell. Do they make it through the corner safely? They do. And we see an accident over at turn 8. That looks like Louis Foster going off the circuit. I think there was a tangle between him and Pato O'Ward at that corner. Well, there was no contact made, and also Ria Hirakawa touched Pato O'Ward's car. I don't think any action will be taken on that unless the stewards decide otherwise. And the conclusion is that there's not going to be any action taken. Lots of changes happening at the back of the field. Fights may try and go for a fast stop at this early stage because he's so far down at the back of the field. He's running about 20 seconds behind the next car ahead of him. Lap 4 here in Parnu. It's Rosenqvist who leads by 3 seconds over Philip Hansen in the BAR. Further down the field, we're looking at Stoffel van Dorn, who's got Philip Albuquerque in front of him. It's a new fast up the race there from Felix Rosenqvist, and Van Dorn got too heavy on the curb, and it's allowed Pascal Wehrlein to close in. Dixon has taken the fast lap point away from Felix Rosenqvist, and he's also on the move behind Bell. As we watch Hansen continuing in P2. It's been a fine job from him so far. He's had a good first couple of races. And it's race over again for Jake Dennis. He has been on a barren run of form recently. And it's got even worse for him here. It was an engine problem. He was nudged off the circuit. No, it was one of the runs that ran into him. And it was Alex Palou. Now, could he have avoided the Andretti? No, I think he could have avoided that, really, in my opinion, Alex Palou. So we'll see what the stewards say, but Dennis was going to pull off the circuit anyway. That might save Palou, even though it's not the best of driving standards. And no further action is going to be taken. I think that's the correct decision. Pato O'Ward, who's sat behind Jose Maria Lopez for 16th position. And Carlin are aiming for some more points to preserve their League One status for next season. And Robin Friends posts a new fast lap of the race on his own at the back. And Bell overtakes Hansen for 2nd position. And there are 2 cars in trouble, and that's the Prema going out of the race. That looked like Louis Foster, and another one up in smoke was one of the Simtex. That might be Tom Coronel. Louis Foster out of the race with a puncture, and we saw that Simtech on up in smoke as well, and it is Tom Coronel who pulls off at turn 8. And another car slowing, it's Igor Fraga in the Ram. Pulls off at turn 2, and he's another one to retire. Four cars out already, and we're only on lap 7. And Robin Friends is pushing ever so hard to get himself back into the pack, to keep his realistic hopes of the championship alive. Look at the gap in the championship. There are 5 drivers who are already in triple figures. Kevin Estre on 113, and Sonny Fitzgerald on 110. Robin Friends 106. Scott Dixon 105, and Felix Rosenquist on 101. The next driver behind is Scott McLaughlin on 83. And there is Scott McLaughlin, who has got Kevin Magnussen right behind. And Philip Albuquerque, who's now consumed 9th position. Despite everything that's happened so far. Bell in 2nd place. Kevin Magnussen thinking about a move on McLaughlin for 5th. Not able to get past just yet. With the way things are going, Rosenquist got that point for pole position earlier. If he wins this race, he'll go on to 127. Kevin Estre, who's running in 7th, he'll be on 119. Sonny Fitzgerald is another point, another position back. He'll get 4 points. He'll move on to 114. Robin Friends, who holds the fast lap, he's on 107. Scott Dixon, by finishing 2nd, will move on to 124 points. So Rosenquist will be in the lead by 3 points over Dixon. Rosenquist will jump up from 5th to the lead. Dixon will jump up from 4th to 2nd. Friends will drop down 2 positions to 5th. DaCosta will be down 2 positions to 4th, and Estre will be down 2 positions to 3rd. That's how quickly it can change. Further down the order, we look at Ryo Hirakawa and Sebastian Buemi, who's going through ahead of the Minardi. Jose Maria Lopez is a couple of positions up from him in 15th. Scott McLaughlin heading through on Dixon. Well, that's Hansen, sorry, he's going past. My apologies. McLaughlin going through on Hansen for 4th place. Hansen is beginning to drop back now from the leader who he was fighting with. Tina Hausman is heading through on Alex Palou. That is for 20th position. Look at Buemi, who's been overtaken by Hirakawa again. He's got Oliver Rowland for company. Buemi is overtaken by Rowland. Only Premier left in the race. And they are the list of retirements: Igor Fraga, Tom Coronel, Louis Foster, and Jake Dennis. Lap 12 of the race, Rosenquist continuing on. We look at Jean-Luc Verne in the Force India, who's got Stoffel Van Dorn behind. It's Linus Lundqvist, who was running in the top 10 earlier, has now dropped down to 13th. The next cars behind it are Marcello Lopez, Award Buemi, or Award Hirakawa, Buemi, and Rowland. Hirakawa fighting with Patrick Ward. This is for 16th place. look at Verline in P10. Behind Philip Albuquerque. Down the back straight. He's not able to pull the move just yet. We're getting close to the first round of pit stops. And I would say that Robin Friends will be, Felix Rosenquist will be one of those doing the 2-stop. On lap 14, we see Rosenquist in the foreground. We are looking at Dixon, who has yet to win this season. The last win he picked up in the Grand Prix Series was back in Buenos Aires, Argentina in season 4 for Minardi. He has the joint most number of wins with Antonio Felix da Costa, following da Costa's latest triumph in Brno last time out. Last time out in Brno, Arrows broke the record for the most number of podiums ever out of any team in the Grand Prix Series. 32 they have and counting. Robin Friends is starting to come back through the field here as he heads through on Tina Hausman for 21st, and it won't be too long before he overtakes Alex Palou. Kevin Magnussen is right behind Scott McLaughlin for 4th. Kevin Estra has overtaken Philip Hansen for 6th place. Ronald Fiennes has passed Alex Palou for 20th place. 6 seconds he's got to make up on Sebastian Buemi. He's been overtaken by Oliver Rowland. Through goes Magnussen on Scott McLaughlin for 4th place. The Fonmatels are coming into their zone a little bit now. Magnussen gets past. Dixon. Behind Dixon is Bell. Look at Rio Hirakawa. He's got the Carlin of Pato Award in front of him. He talks about the Drivers' Championship as far as the Teams' Championship is concerned. Onyx are having, I would say, slightly the better race compared to Arrows, although Rosenquist is on course for the win and pole position point he's already got. And Friends has got the fast lap point. Dixon's running in 2nd place, Esther is 6th. That is a total of 26 championship points. So Arrows would come away with 1 point more than Onyx with the way this race is going for both teams. Fomatel right now would be dropping back, as will HRT. And BAR have secured their places in League 1 for next season, more or less. Force India are close to doing so. So it's going to be between the bottom 6 teams to decide who will remain in League 1 and who will go down to League 2 for season 6. Cross are hoping that they won't be one of them. Lopez is overtaken by Ria Hirakawa for 15. In 6th place. Next driver behind him is Philip Hansen, who's got Antonio Felix da Costa within half a second of him. Through turn 8. Over the line to start lap 19. We've got Scott Dixon in at the end of lap 18. He's the first of the leaders to come in, as is Kevin Magnussen for Von Metal. Pascal Verlaine also in for Minardi. Sean McVern likewise for Force India. Rio Hirakawa in P11. When will Rosenquist decide to pit in? Surely it can't be too far away for him, you'd have thought, considering the pace he's been able to show in that opening stint. Now comes one of the pros, by the looks of it. Then it was Jose Maria Lopez that came in. He's going to have to give way to Rosenquist, who's going to go through ahead of him. It's a lap. Bell and Estra are both in for HRT and Onyx. Hirakawa in for Minardi. Now we're looking at Hansen and DaCosta. Albuquerque is up into 5th place through all the pit stops that are happening as we speak. Let's run down on the setups then. So we're approaching 1/3 race distance. Prost have gone for maximum top speed, and likewise for HRT. BAR and Arrows have both gone for mid top speed. Force India maximum top speed. Minardi mid downforce. Simtek mid top speed. Onyx maximum top speed, Von Metal neutral, Carlin and Prema maximum top speed, Andretti mid top speed, Ram maximum top speed. It's been held up by Alex Palou, nearly takes out the Onyx, and it's right in the middle of the racetrack, and it's game over for him, and it's race over for good for Ross McGregor's team. Now, he was trying to let the... Well, they were fighting for position, those two. So will Palou feel that Estra forced him off the circuit? I would say not. Friends is in for his first scheduled stop of the race. Boemi, who's up into 12th place, but he's got Christopher Bell on much fresher tyres right behind. As we see DaCosta go through on Hansen, well, not quite there. Considering that the BAR will have the extra straight line speed compared to the Von Metal with that neutral setup of Ewan Gale's squad. Sofran Don in for Carlin. Rosenquist did come in for a pit stop. He rejoins. I think he was down in 7th place before Van Dorn pitted in. He's now up into 6th place. There goes DaCosta into the pit lane. He's not hanging around behind Hansen anymore. And so he dives in. And what will this do for him and for Ewan Gale's squad? And it's a retirement for Sebastian Buemi again. And he's been punted off by, and I don't think that was Kevin Magnussen, but it's race over for Sebastian Buemi. And he's retired at the same spot as where he had pulled off last season. Clearly not his favourite circuit. It's right in the middle of the racetrack. The brakes are finally on. But he's in a dangerous part of the circuit. That's one of the Prost cars gone from this. More disappointing season for Sebastian Buemi in the defence to his crown. Question marks could be raised on his future within the team. There's not going to be any further action taken on that incident involving him and Magnussen. Scott McLaughlin in for HRT, handing the lead over to Philip Hansen. Philip Albuquerque also comes in. Felix Rosenqvist will go back into second place. How quickly can he chase down Philip Hansen, I wonder? We saw in the Lead 2 race that the 2-stop was the way to go. But Hansen's already built up such a margin on Rosenqvist after Rosenqvist had pitted. And there we see Lopez running wide at turn 1. He's got to be careful. And that hands the position over to Robin Freins. There we see O'Ward. And that's another position lost for Buemi. Not Buemi, Lopez. See O'Ward and Lopez down the pit straight, battling once more. And now we'll look at Rosenqvist in second place. Closing down the margin on Philip Hansen. Perhaps not enough to think that he can get an overtake completed before Hansen comes in for his only stop. There's a car off ahead of him. And it's Rowland who is out of the race. He's crashed into the barrier. And it's game over for the Brit. And it's another miserable day for Alex Johnston's team. Prema won't be scoring points again. We look at Marcello and Dixon nose to tail. Marcello hasn't stopped yet in this race. And Dixon is close enough here, but is he close enough to pull off an overtake before they get to the left-hander? He's up the inside, is Dixon. Third place going to him. That's a coolly done overtake by the Kiwi, the two-time Grand Prix Series champion, with a chance to go for his third. So we are looking at Philip Hansen again. He's pushing ever so hard to pull away from Rosenqvist before he pits in. We're on lap 27 out of 63. An overtake for Pato O'Ward on Jose Maria Lopez, and that's for 17. Marcello has got Christopher Bell right behind. Bell decides to do with his strategy, pull off a good race. He had a strong drive. I think it was only his second race in the Grand Prix Series for Christopher Bell. finished in a brilliant P3. Although race 9 that season was in Istanbul where he finished in P3. I think I'm looking at the wrong race for Christopher Bell. He was in P6. No, he did finish in 3rd place. I was right. First time around. It's been a strong race so far for Philip Hansen, who hasn't stopped yet. Rosenquist isn't closing the gap down enough. But when he pits in later, he is going to pass Hansen on circuit if he's going to win this one. But it's just where will Hansen rejoin when the drivers who are coming in for their only stops will be coming out. Five and a half seconds is the margin between Hansen and Rosenquist. Rosenquist heading through the fast chicane before the end of the lap. There we see the Onyx of Scott Dixon in 3rd place. Doing his best to go after Rosenquist. Robin Friends, after his first scheduled stop, is outside the top 15. I'm sure he's running in 16th place, I'd have thought. Goes Albuquerque on Magnussen for 9th, and that's another position gain at the expense of the Portuguese. Nice overtake. Well, Rosenquist has got the gap down to 5 seconds, but Hansen is close to coming in for his only stop. We're on lap 31. Rosenquist has got a back marker which he'll need to pass before he can get anywhere near Hansen. Been superb from Hansen so far in this. It's about to get even better. Should he be the one coming out on top here in Parnu? And Hansen is in now at the end of lap 31. Chris goes back into the lead. What does Marcello do? Because he's running in 5th position. He has not stopped. He has not stopped yet in this one. Bell 4th. Marcello is in 5th place. He's going to go ahead of Hansen for now. I think Verline's going to go through here on Hansen. Yeah. So Hansen rejoins in P11. See Rosenquist is tucked up behind Tina Hausmann to lap. And Philip Hansen's going to have to overtake some cars on circuit. He wants to lose less time being stuck behind the traffic. Scott Pascal Verline ahead of him will be the first car to pass. Felix Rosenquist has lapped Tina Hausmann 4th position. But it's not going to be points for Prost, I'm afraid. Jose Maria Lopez is pulling to the side, just as Sebastian Buemi did not too long ago. Both cars are out of it. And they've only got 6 races left to find something. Or they'll be facing life in League 2 next season. It's a shame. The team that won the Drivers' and Teams Championships last season are facing down the barrel of relegation. I can tell you that Albuquerque has slowed with a problem. Is he going to be able to get that car back to the pit lane? What is it exactly is he suffering with? Well, he's in the pits now, is Albuquerque. It's an electrical problem, and his chances of points are more or less gone. Marcello pitting in for Force India at the same time. Chris leads the race. Dixon 5 seconds off. It's Bell, McLaughlin, DaCosta, Astra, Magnussen, Verline, Hansen and Verne. .29 laps of this League 1 Parnu Grand Prix. Is Felix Rosenqvist going to be celebrating a 4th Grand Prix Series win? Or is Scott Dixon going to take a record-breaking 9th win in the series? We'll see. Christopher Bell, despite so many misses, has yet to take to the top step. He's competed in 19 starts before today. Goes Robin Fines on Linus Lundqvist for 12th position. That's a nice pass there from the Dutchman. Right on board with Rosenqvist. We'll be thinking about Philip Hansen, the fact that he's pitted. He's likely to go back into the lead once the 2 stoppers have come in for their last trips to the pits. Seven-tenths is the margin between Verline and Hansen. There goes Dixon on Tina Hausman to lap. How long will it be before Rosenqvist decides that it's time for a final trip to the pit lane? There won't be that many laps left on his fuel gauge. He's doing everything he needs to be doing so far. Robin finds his teammate is down in 12th position. And someone in 9th place behind Verline. So they head over the line nose to tail. promotion relegation system in the Grand Prix Series. The bottom 3 teams in League 1 will head down to League 2 for Season 6. And the top 3 teams in League 2 will go up to League 1. It's that simple. Rosenquist doing everything right. Hansen is still stuck behind Verline. This is playing into Rosenquist's hands to come away with the win here in Estonia. There are 6 rounds to go after this. Not one left of this, 24 laps to go. On a track like this, we know how quick this circuit can fly. Into the pits comes Verline from 8th position. That releases Philip Hansen, who can get on with his own race. Chase after the next car in front, that's Kevin Magnussen. Van Dorn also in for Carlin. Houseman running in 18th and last place. Simtek are almost certain they will be racing in League 2 next season. They have not scored a championship point since round number 3 at La Plata. Scott Dixon is the latest to pit in for Onyx. He was in 2nd before diving in. Lundqvist pits in for Andretti. Stop front on, running in 17th, locks up. Is in from the lead. Bell is also in from 2nd place, so Scott McLaughlin will take over leadership. Kevin Estra is also in for Onyx, so that allows Kevin Magnussen to go up into 3rd place for now. Hansen is ahead of Rosenquist, but he isn't far ahead of him. I don't see him holding on to the race win once McLaughlin, DeCosta and Magnussen come in for their last stops. Award in from, I think he was in 15th place before he came in. What about McLaughlin, DeCosta and Magnussen? Will any of them come in for a stop? McLaughlin doesn't. DeCosta doesn't. Magnussen does. He's in. As we see Bell touching the barrier at the chicane, which won't help with the handling. That was very nearly race over there for the American. He was in 3rd place before pitting in. He's come in for his final stop. So we'll see him come out behind Christopher Bell. Linus Lundqvist is in 16th place. So making that lock up. Costa has just lapped Tina Hausman, and Robin Prines has overtaken Sean McFern for 5th place. He's got one more stop to make as Prines, but this has been an impressive comeback. How far can he go? Costa is in for his final stop. Tina Hausman is also in. And Prines has to come in for his final set of tyres and fuel. Will we see him finish inside the points today? Kevin Magnussen certainly hopes so. He's up to the gearbox of Rafael Marcello. Sofendon running wide there. It looks like turn 4 where he'd nearly gone off. And we've got a pit stop over at HRT. Scott McLaughlin's in. Philip Hansen moves into the lead, albeit he's only half a second clear on Felix Rosenqvist. 19 laps remaining. It's unlikely that Hansen's going to hold on. We've got stuck up behind traffic, or stuck behind traffic for too long. There goes Da Costa. Not Da Costa, sorry. That is Magnussen on Marcello. And this is the battle for the lead for the League One Parnu Grand Prix victory. Felix Rosenqvist gets up the inside of Philip Hansen. The inevitable had come. Hansen had to settle for defeat that time. And Rosenqvist is now on the cusp of another win that will throw him certainly into the championship fight. As it stands, he'll be leading the Drivers' Championship. That's Lundqvist heading through on Hirakawa for 14th. And that's a retirement for Kevin Estra. 2 races in a row. He is not going to be scoring points. The championship leader is out. And it's unlikely he's going to be leading the championship after this. Gearbox failure has sidelined the Frenchman. Rosenqvist 1.5 seconds clear over Hansen, but Dixon will be closing in on Hansen. The potential fight for second place is on. There's Philip Albuquerque overtaking Pastor Ward for 15th. Robin Frines has moved back into the points in 10th. And Albuquerque didn't quite get it right through the final chicane, and that has allowed O'Ward to pull alongside. And a change for position is imminent again, although Albuquerque is able to fight back, but O'Ward is still there. And the position is gained back for the Mexican. Hansen in P2. 2 seconds off the race leader. With 16 laps to go. And Ward has got Albuquerque alongside again. Cook heads through. Will we see arrows on the top step again? Will Topher Smith see his cars triumph and take the lead in the team's championship from Onyx, with Rosenquist on the verge of victory. Dixon in third place. Robin Frines is down in P10 and holds the point for the fastest lap. Kirikara overtakes Stoff Van Dorn for 12th. Furline, who's running in 9th, has Rafael Marcello ahead of him. If you look at the bottom 6 teams, Carlin are not on course to be scoring. Neither are Ram, neither are Andretti, neither are Prima, neither are Prost, neither are Simtek. So the gap will be just the same between those 6 teams as it was before the start of this. Now, a second place finish for BAR will see them pull further clear of Force India. Move closer to Minardi, although they've still got quite a way to catch up to them. Philip Hansen in second place, over 3 seconds off the lead, but it's been a super drive. Is it going to be a first time on the podium for the Brit, who had won the 24 Hours of Le Mans with the Ferrari team in 2025? Mateo Bell has made a mistake and has spun right in front of his teammate. Avoids Da Costa. He's going to have to let Magnussen go here. And I think Marcello is going to close up on him out of the chicane. Christopher Bell rejoins in 7th position. Dixon, he's just over a couple of seconds behind, and Bell's off again! Into the gravel. It's a bad mistake there from Bell. Too deep. And into the gravel he goes. There's not going to be any points coming in the way of Christopher Bell. He's a lot down now on the leaders. He's down to 16th position. And the only driver behind him is Tina Hausman, who's had to come in for repairs. Verline in 8th position behind Marcello. Frines is up to 9th and Verne inside the points. Both of Ed Spencer's cars are inside the top 10. Marcello trying to hold off Verline. Going down that back straight towards turn 8. gap between Hansen and Dixon has come down to 1.4 seconds. Not got long left in the race. There are Marcello, Verline and Freins. Out of turn 7. Rosenquist still carrying on. Ward is down in 15th position, not looking like he's going to be picking up any points. He's on the brink of being lapped by the race leader. Hansen is only 6/10 ahead of Dixon here. Don't think he's going to hold on, you know. I think he's going to find it very, very difficult to hold on. He'll survive through this part. I think the next time they come into that back straight towards turn 8, that'll be when Dixon pounces. Lachlan, 10 seconds back from that battle in 4th. It's Magnussen, Marcello. Freins has got past Verline for 8th place. Here comes Dixon, heading through on Philip Hansen for 2nd place. Scott Dixon, the 2-time Grand Prix World Series champion, is through on Philip Hansen, who's competing in only his 3rd start. Dixon through into 2nd place. As far as the championship is concerned, he'll be moving up into 2nd place with the way things are playing out as they are. Freins has overtaken Marcello for P7. Has he got enough time to go after Kevin Magnussen? I'll probably say no. Freins gets lapped. Sorry, Ward gets lapped by Rosenquist. Swede only 7 laps away from a comfortable victory. Nine seconds the margin between Magnussen and Freins. And out goes Christopher Bell, who had those mistakes, and it's going to be retirement this time for the American, out from 16th place. And the car will be lifted up over the barrier unless it just stays there for the foreseeable future. Carrying on then. He's lapped Tina Houseman for the 2nd time. was third in Brno last time out. He failed to finish in the previous 2 races before that, in Poznan and in Hockenheim. This is a really sweet victory he's going to pick up here. Another podium for Arrows, continuing to hold the record for the most number of podiums in the history of the Grand Prix Series by one team. There we look at Rosenqvist, 5 laps away from the end. A pleasing sight for team manager Topher Smith. 1st and 7th it'll be here. Onyx won't be scoring as many. HRT won't be scoring as many. Von Mattel will of course get both cars in the points, with DaCosta 5th and Magnussen 6th. Dixon will be happy with this result, as Hausman gets lapped by the man who she's chasing after, and that's Pato O'Ward. Rosenqvist not far away from the end now. Got a late pit stop over at Minardi because Pascal Wehrlein has had to come in with some form of technical issue. That's appalling lot there, because he was running inside the points. He was running in 9th, and those 2 points are down the drain for him and for Minardi. A throttle problem for the German. He might try and go for a fastest lap. There's Dixon coming round. Just 3 laps remaining then for Felix Rosenqvist. It's been a comfortable drive. And what a day it will be. And a twist in the championship race with Esra not scoring again. He'll drop behind Antonio Felix DaCosta, but this man is going to make the bigger jump into the lead thanks to this amazing result. Well, this man is on course for a brilliant result for him and for team manager Will Knight. Philip Hansen, in only his 3rd Grand Prix World Series start, is very close to taking his maiden podium. It's got Pascal Wehrlein, who's trying to unlap himself from the BAR. I don't think Hansen should fight this one because Wehrlein's going to be much quicker. And Magnussen hits the barrier at the final chicane of the lap. No harm was done to the Von Mattel, but that could have been curtains close to the end. Wehrlein did unlap himself from Philip Hansen, so he could take the fast lap point away from Robin Freins. Felix Rosenqvist has started the final lap of the race, as we see Tina Hausman get lapped by Scott Dixon. It's been a stunning race for this man. He'll be voted driver of the day, I think. After a brilliant, brilliant race. But Rosenqvist will be the most relieved man of the disappointments he had in Hockenheim and in Poznan. He bounded from that with a podium finish after beating the lead earlier in Brno. Today, he's got it right. Pole position from the start and hardly been troubled. Felix Rosenqvist has got the chicane to get through and the checker flag will be waiting for him. Felix Rosenqvist powers down the pit straight to win the League One Parnu Grand Prix. It's the championship lead for the Swedish pilot. Felix Rosenqvist is on top. Scott Dixon finishes in second place. Does Pascal Wehrlein get the fastest lap? No, he does not. But it's Philip Hansen who collects his first podium finish in the Grand Prix World Series in only his third start. What a drive from the Brit. And what a day for team manager Will Knight. Scott McLaughlin fourth and Tony Fitzdacosta finishing fifth ahead of his teammate Kevin Magnussen. Robin Friends, after his technical issues at the start, is in P7. Rafael Marcello holds off ahead of his teammate Jean-Luc Verne to 8th, Verne 9th, and Rio Hirakawa collects the last point for Minardi in 10th place. The last drivers over the line on the lead lap are Stoffel van Dorn, Linus Lundqvist and Philip Albuquerque, who just sneaks past him. It's a win for Felix Rosenqvist at Parnu. What a drive from him. It's the second win of the season, which puts him to the top of the championship. Scott Dixon second, Philip Hansen with his first podium finish ahead of Scott McLaughlin, and Tony Fitzdacosta in fifth. Then it's Kevin Magnussen, Robin Friends, Rafael Marcello, Jean-Luc Verne, and Rio Hirakawa rounding out the top 10 point scorers. Stoffel van Dorn 11th, Philip Albuquerque just pipping past Linus Lundqvist to the line in 12th. Lundqvist will be 13th in its Pastor Award, and Pascal Wehrlein and Tina Hausmann finishing the race 2 laps down. The drivers that did not finish, they are Christopher Bell, Kevin Estra, Jose Maria Lopez, Oliver Rowland, Sebastian Buemi, Alex Palou, Igor Fraga, Tom Coronel, Louis Foster and Jake Dennis. 10 drivers did not finish in that League One Parnu Grand Prix. The pole position point going to Felix Rosenqvist and the fast lap point going in the way of his teammate Robin Friends. A great day again for Arrows. It's into the lead in both the drivers and the team's championship, and a brilliant day for Felix Rosenqvist. He needed that win. That has thrown him at the top of the pecking order. Will it remain that way by the season's end in Buriram in Thailand? In terms of the relegation battle, no points were scored for any of the bottom 6 teams, so it's still game on in the battle for survival. It's time to run down on the League One Drivers and Teams Championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And they'll be back for the next round in Marrakesh in a couple of weeks' time. Topher, over to you.
Well, another dramatic race here in Parnu with Felix Rosenqvist picking up another victory this season, moving himself into the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And Philip Hansen getting his maiden Grand Prix World Series podium with third place today in only his third attempt. A great race by him. And the team manager of BAR, Will Knight, I'm sure will be very happy with the fact that he's signed him to the seat for the remainder of the season. But looking at the drivers and team standings, like I said, Felix Rosenqvist back into the lead of the championship at 127 points, 4 ahead of Scott Dixon, who picks up another podium today and is second in the championship on 123. DaCosta down to third on 122, with Kevin Estra with his second retirement in a row, going from first to fourth in the standings, level on points with Robin Friends. 14 points separating those top 5 is still very close, with Scott McLaughlin a further 10 behind as well. He's still within touching distance, as is Kevin Magnussen on 86 points. I imagine that the champion will come from those top 7, but we could still see some surprise results in the last few rounds of the season. Christopher Bell 8th on 62, ahead of Rio Hirakawa on 60, and Nicholas Latifi still in the top 10 on 46 points. In the teams, Arrow's victory today has moved them into the lead of the championship on 240 points, 4 ahead of Onyx on 236, still very close between those two, swapping and changing in lead almost on a race-by-race basis it seems at the moment. Fomital third on 208, still within touching distance of the championship lead. And then HRT 4th 155, Minardi on 102, BAR on 80, Force India on 64, Carlin on 40, Ram Racing on 34 and Andretti on 31, all still in the top 10, while Prema Racing, Prost and Simtek still occupy those relegation spots for the time being. Well, we've had two fantastic races today here in Estonia. This is becoming a bit of a fan favourite, this circuit, always producing drama, action and controversy, and we can't wait to see what the rest of this season is going to bring. We have an upgrade window next, where team managers will be able to improve their power, their reliability and or their downforce. These sorts of decisions could potentially change the pecking order, especially in the midfield where the times are so close and relegation spots and promotion spots are up for grabs. 6 more rounds to go this season, with the next round coming in Marrakesh in Morocco. The European leg of the season is now over. 6 races left to decide, 2 drivers champions and 2 teams champions. How will this latest upgrade window change things? We will have to wait and see. Until the next round from Marrakesh, thank you again for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have your company. I'm Topher Smith. Take care.